tonight, Birch Book Corner, Laura Cummings is joining us. Good morning, Laura. How's it going? We just have so much fun. We're like discussing books and knickknacks and all this stuff. Lots going on here in the Valley. And start to slow down. People can get into the bookstore because you guys have been jamming wall to wall.
It was so funny because the first day, the Tuesday after Labor Day, it was pretty quiet. But then Wednesday, a lot of our regular people, I was like, oh, they're out of the woodwork.
Start to come out.
The locals are coming back.
Yeah, it's great. And you guys have kicked up the community book now that you do, and that is like libraries and bookstores are involved in this. Let's talk about the pick for that.
Okay, this is the 9th year of the community read, and it's called One Book, One Valley, and libraries all the way down from the Freedom, Effingham, up to Bartlett and Jackson, and even over into Freiburg and Lovell and Brownfield. We select one book, and this year it's Flight of the Sparrow by Amy Belding Brown. I hope I got that right.
You can pick it up if you want.
There we go. Well, I think he's got it.
A tight shot. Okay.
And it's historical fiction, American fiction, and it's based on the true story of a woman who gets abducted by Indians during the King Philip's War, and she was a Puritan, and she gets abducted and she lives with them for about 6 months. Now, her story was written about by Cotton Mather, but of course he used it kind of as propaganda, and it's like, you know, because her faith and everything, you know, her Puritan ideal, she was able, but this novel kind of makes it tells a different story, that actually she was like, hey, women have a lot more freedom here, and they can interact with their children so much more. So actually, you know, in this novel, when she gets back, she's really betwixt and between, because while she didn't appreciate necessarily being abducted, she did appreciate a lot of the lifestyle that she had there, and she found it very hard to conform back into her box when she came back.
So what part of that does this book cover? Does it cover abduction through
coming back and kind of after, and a relationship with a particular Native American and everything. It's just very interesting.
Are we talking romance?
Well, no, never quite. This is Puritan. But it was funny when she gets back, all the ladies are like, oh, tell us how you must have been ravished. And she's like, no, they left me alone. No, you must have been.
No, really. Even if you have to lie.
So it's a very interesting piece of history, and it's great because it's New England history. And the author will be coming to do her talk, which we do it at the Lutheran Church across the street from the bookstore, and more than 100 or so people come to this regularly.
Is this something you register for?
No, you just come when you, I mean, all the libraries will be having different programming and then different book groups leading up to this, but then the author will come on October 30th, and it's just a fantastic discussion because she apparently did a ton of research on this. So,
well, I love historical fiction because I find just reading history for myself can be a little dry. So to add that in and find that part of history that I like, that relates to something that I'm interested in, and then you can go and find out, like, oh, I'd like to find out more about the actual
and especially
period.
when you know the author has done research, so it's not just completely made up, because half the time I'm reading, I'm like, I hope this is real. I'm filing it in my head as though it's real.
And then you're talking to somebody like, well, I read that. And you can be the authority. It was sort of a romance novel, but, you know, well, I'm thinking Outlander, of course, was my historical fiction. Now I know so much more about Scotland, though, so it worked out. But this, again, you can pick up right at the bookstore.
You can pick up the bookstore, and I will shout out to the libraries, because the libraries have copies, too. The idea is to just read it, and the idea is when the whole community reads the same book and the dialogue is on the book and everything like that, it's just an enriching experience.
Well, you know what, and it is a shout out to the libraries, because I love the libraries in our area. It's such a great resource, but to come into your store is an experience, and to walk out with a book that I feel like I can share between my family and my friends and be like, I read this book, here you go. That is something to be said for that. So you can pick that up at the store, and again, she's going to be doing
October 30th, and there'll be a lot more information between now and then about that. But no, people have already begun. You know, what's
I'm very interested. I'm going to pick that up.
It's a neat book. I liked it.
All right, cool. All right, and you have a lot more, so we should probably.
I know. There's so much. I was saying it's kind of a real across the board mix here, because I wanted to get. I haven't done any kids books when we've been here, so I'll pick this one up.
All right, and what age are we looking at here?
This is a picture book, so you're really looking from, birth to 5 or 6. I know. Peggy is just a farm chicken. She has her regular life, and one day, after bouncing on her trampoline, she gets picked up by a gust of wind and brought to the city. And she walks around the city and she checks things out and this and that. And anyway, she finds out how to ride the train, and it brings her back to her farm. She's made some new friends, some pigeons and things like that. And from then on, Peggy spends time at the farm, but also goes into the city for a day.
Oh, great.
It's just, I love the illustrations, and it's just funny enough. I mean, I'm a big fan
pastel
of
watercolor type.
Yeah, of the humorous picture book. I think you get so much when you can read to kids, and you can laugh, and you can find new things. And this really is, you can find different things in the pictures. Is
this relatively new, or has this been out for a while?
It's probably within the last 6 months.
Okay.
It's just when it came in, we read it and we all just laughed.
I think a brave chicken, because not to go on a tangent, but one of my son's first Halloweens, I stuffed him into a fuzzy chicken suit. It didn't last for long, but there was a scary house in the neighborhood.
Oh.
And he turns to me, this little chicken suit, because I was like, I don't know, buddy. I don't know if we should go to that one. You might be scared. He's like, Mom, I'm a brave chicken. So this would have been so appropriate, But yeah, he probably
it's
is a little
casting
bit older.
against type. I think my mother, when we'd have bats in the house, my father would run fleeing. She'd always be like, "You're a yellow chicken."
There you go.
Yes, a brave chicken is what we need.
We like Peggy. All right. So you also have the Jedi Academy. Do you want me?
Oh yes, the Jedi Academy. This is one of my favorites, and this the second book in this series just came out.
Oh, good.
And
this is pretty funny. It's for an older child, though.
It is, but it's also, we actually read it together, my son and I, and we laughed at the cartoons, and it was hilarious. But it's definitely, in the wimpy kid category and things like that, because it is cartoon. But it's just, a Chewbacca-like person is the gym coach, and somebody who looks a lot like Darth Maul is, I think, the gym. No, he's maybe the science teacher.
Either science or math.
Something like that, and he's very not funny.
Right. He's very deadpan, right?
And Yoda's running around making these. The poor young Jedi is like, I don't understand.
This is one of those books that's great for maybe even a reluctant reader.
Yes,
because it does have the cartoon or the I want to say animation, but it's not animation, obviously, but the cartoon part of it, comic part of it, and it gets them reading. Right,
but it's clever and funny, and especially if anybody has any Star Wars.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Hello.
May the fourth be with you. Anyway, so it's just, and the second book came out, which I haven't read yet, but I just thought it was very,
but
very
you will.
funny. Yes, I know. It's on the list.
So we got that. Is that the wrap for the kids, or you have one in the front, Sparky?
It's Sparky.
Sparky. Can't forget Sparky.
Sparky is a sloth.
And I love the illustration.
This girl really wants a pet, and she gets Sparky, and then she sees in the park this friend of hers who has another pet, and that pet, like a dog, is doing tricks and this and that. She's like, well, I can teach Sparky tricks. Well, Sparky is very good at stay.
They did.
And so he basically really does no tricks, but she loves him anyway. And it's just so funny because Sparky, just like on the cover, really pretty much just hangs there the whole time.
That is so cute.
And again, I like, but some picture books, you need a lesson, you need this or whatever. But I think
I was waiting for you to deliver.
Yes, I think a lot of reading with kids is you have to make it fun, and we don't see many sloths around here, if any.
But for some reason, recently online, I've seen a lot of the cutest sloth baby ever type thing.
Maybe started by Sparky.
But the illustrations here are amazing. I mean, it's so cute that I think kids would gravitate towards that.
Right, and I guess if you wanted to pull a message out of it, if you have a pet, you have to take care of it, regardless of whether the pet is what you had in mind or anything like that.
Great.
But no, Sparky is very funny.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so
picking a picture book is near impossible. I have to say, there are so many amazing picture books, and we have so much fun. In fact, if we sat there and read all the picture books, we'd never.
I know,
but you do have to do that sometimes.
Right, because you guys go through the whole store pretty much and read and read and read, make great recommendations. I love those little cards because you can find out why you guys loved
Right.
it, and if you have a particular employee that kind of has the same,
right.
you know, likes that you do, you know,
Right.
is immediately when you see those cars that this is something that I should try.
Right, and we've had customers, I remember once, who looked at a book and they said, "Who's Laura?" And I'm like, "I'm Laura." "You like this?" And then she was giving me the evil eye the whole rest of the time she was in. I'm like, "I'm sorry, liking something is very subjective, you know. I did like it. I'm not, you know."
Do you ever have that pressure, like, oh, this might not be cool enough to like?
Right. Well, then
you like it anyway.
when people buy, it's like, okay, if you say you liked it, I'm like, if you know, you can come back and say you were wrong.
Right, but it's opinion.
Nobody has
It's
yet.
opinion based. So,
It is.
you know, there's no guarantees or anything. But what I like is that usually are changed in some small way after you read a book. You're
Right.
thinking about something different than your day-to-day, you know, do I
Right.
have to do the laundry? No, you're reading a great book.
Right,
And things
right.
are good. So let's move on to some
Okay,
more
let
picks here.
me hit the valley with this. It's not even out yet.
Oh.
It's out on Tuesday.
I get to touch.
We don't even get to sell it until
Really?
Tuesday. I know. That's how they do it, so nobody has an advantage. But the Iron Trial, it's the best. It's a great new series, of course. Nobody writes standalone
Right.
books anymore for
Or they-
kids.
it might start out, but they always go on.
And it's by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, who are both very good YA
Clare.
young adults. She wrote The Mortal Instruments.
Yes.
They were movies.
Okay,
And,
yeah, the movies, meh. The books were good.
Yes.
Entertaining.
And so they have teamed up, and it's this young boy. Apparently, amongst us, people have magic abilities.
Shock.
Yes. And every year when they reach a certain age, they pull them in. Some don't know, some do know. And then they have to, if they pass the test, then they go to training. And the first part is the first year, so let's say freshman year is your Iron Trial.
Oh my.
And this boy has a lot of turmoil, inner turmoil, but he has a lot of magic too that he didn't know either. So the gist is he going to go to the dark side, or follow
Great
some of the
power
voices,
comes- yeah, great
or is
responsibility,
he
right?
going to learn from his friends and everything, and follow the harder path to the good? So
Wonderful. Well, on the back here, fire wants to burn, water wants to flow, air wants to rise, earth wants to bind, chaos wants to devour.
yes. So it's a great start, and it's literally out Tuesday for the first time. And
Can they pre-order from you?
oh yeah, we'll hold it for you and everything. And they're basically calling it one of the hotter kids books of the fall. I guess we're into the
Age
fall.
range, would you say?
Age range is middle grade, so probably fourth and up or anything. But
so
of course, I
something
read
my
it and
Tyler
liked
could
it.
read. Guess what you're getting? Excellent. So
I
Tuesday
like
for
everything.
that.
And everything. So probably time for one more book, and I want to give a shout out to this one.
Oh, I'm not letting you go.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm
Okay.
just kidding.
Well,
you're here all morning.
yes, I could do it all morning. The Hand of the Small Town Builder by Tad Pfeffer. He's coming to the store on the 23rd, September 23rd, which is Tuesday night, 6:30. He's going to do a presentation, and he is a professor. But the gist of the stories, I love this, is really neat. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, as the middle class was growing and people started having extra income and vacation time, and the tourism was beginning up here, people started coming up here and building second houses. And these aren't the the great grand hotels or the giant houses. These are the small craftsmen's houses where either they became builders themselves or local people.
I'd love to check.
And and it's a really neat thing. I mean, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that looks just like my house, or that looks just like the house next door. And so it's
Gorgeous.
great pictures in there. It's published by David Godine, and he makes beautiful books. He really does. And that's where it gets fun, when you get...
That's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. When you get a great book and then somebody who can make it, it's almost doubly good because of the craft of the book as well as what's inside.
Well, it's it's something substantial that you're holding.
Right.
And I know, the e-readers and stuff like that is for some people, but for me, oops, sorry, I'm moving this. That's a gorgeous. I mean, this is one of the more posh ones. A lot of them are very cabiny type thing, but look at that workmanship.
I know. Look at the ceiling and everything.
That's gorgeous. But there's something to be said again for a good quality book.
Yes, and you know, I mean, I'll get up on my soapbox for a second, but I think they just came out and they said something like. And again, e-readers are perfectly fine, no complaints, but they did say that your retention level with the e-reader is less than when you are tactilely turning pages and
I like
seeing how far you had to go and things like that. There's definitely some improvement when you know. That's what they're calling them now. They're like, this is our new technology, a book.
No, book.
Yes.
We like books.
Always fully charged.
Yeah, I love this. This is gorgeous. All right, so he's going to be in the store?
He's going to be in the store on the 23rd and with a slide presentation. And that's what I think elevates it beyond just a regular author visit, because he'll have pictures. He apparently lived in this area at some time, and so he knows a few different builders and climbers and everything, but he summers up in Lancaster, I guess. And anyway, so we're happy to have him. Again, it's a beautiful book, and
that's a great gift too for a lot of people.
It is, and again, it's not the giant houses. I mean, those are beautiful to look at.
There's a couple giant ones in there, but the cabins are.
But really they're very attainable and everything like that. So it is something to look at.
Relatable, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have time for one more?
I can do it.
He says sure.
He says sure.
Okay,
oh
so
my God,
what are you
the
gonna
pressure,
pick?
the pressure. Okay, I'm going to do this one. This is a beautiful, beautiful book.
Beautiful written, I imagine.
Beautifully written. All the light, no pictures. All the light we cannot see. It's set during World War II, and our main characters are a young German boy who is like a radio science type of genius, and a blind French girl. And her father worked at a museum. Anyway, with the invasion of France, she comes down to I'm forgetting the town, but a walled seaside city. And anyway, as you know, the Germans during the war looted or tried to acquire many works of art and things from all over Europe. Well, little does she know she's in possession of an amazing gem. So it's this story of the two young people with the war raging around them, and you do kind of see how how war just engulfs everything, regardless of whether you're on a side or they're young people, so they're not Anyway, it's just a beautiful story. He writes just such a beautiful story. So in the midst of that, as they somehow come closer to each other, you've got this Nazi gem hunter coming in the peril of her father, and also a little bit of resistance going on. It's again great historical fiction, but it's a beautiful story.
All the light we cannot see.
Yeah.
Anthony Dorr.
And he writes he cares for his characters so much, and I think you can tell that in a writer. It's not like, oh, this is a great construct.
Yeah. I think this will go over well.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this. I mean, they were just so real.
Well, wonderful.
And I gasped out loud at a few parts because it didn't go the way I wanted. But it was a beautiful part.
All right. Well, great. No. All the light we cannot see. Anthony Dorr. It's in the shop right now. White Birch Books. Location. Let's tell them location.
Oh, location. We are right in North Conway Village. We are just south of the park and the train station.
A beautiful shop.
Across
Love the shop.
from TD Bank. Yes, we have our new little pink walkway. You can walk right
Yes. Is that pink or mauve?
It changes. it's a very interesting color, but...
and you also have, again, books galore, of course, in every nook and cranny, but you also have stuff all over the counter that is great. Kids stuff, fun stuff. You have the socks, which I came in and bought. 2 pairs of the high socks that are so much fun.
Right.
And you have those in stock as well.
We have those. I'll put my little Read Local mug
Yes,
and
I've been wearing this one.
We should be
This makes me stand out from I kind of camouflage into the chair.
Right.
So this
yes, we just got these great little reading ones. Hold it still.
Great.
And I think we have another one that looks like a pyramid that says "Read more books" and everything. So
the directive. If you hold it up just a little bit, there we go.
Okay.
And opposite.
Okay.
Yes, there you go. Good.
See, I'm not good at this. I'm not a professional. But no, we like to find fun stuff like this. It doesn't all focus on reading, but this is kind of fun. And,
yes, it is. And again, it's an experience coming in. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
You know, and it's a great place. I mean, I would spend all day there if I could, because there's so many selections to look at and
well,
so
the
many
stuff
great
is
reads.
pouring in for the fall.
Yay.
I maybe went a little overboard. But.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, website, whitebirchbooks.com.
Whitebirchbooks.com, and that's where you can see our events and you can see our book groups.
Great.
And
Because you do a book club, and again, the community
Right.
reads going on.
Right.
You open from 9:30 to 6 today.
Yes.
And the number is 356-3200.
that's good. You got all the details.
Oh, I was on the website this morning. Well, Laura, always a pleasure to see you.
Yes,
Thanks so
thank
much.
you.
All right, again, whitebirchbooks.com online, but you definitely have to stop in